All right.
Okay.
Well, let's roll. Let's get on to the
let's get going.
main event here.
Yes.
I'm
All
pretty
right. So,
excited.
Joel, what do you have for us today?
Okay. So, let me start. Let's do this way. There's several different ways to present this to you. So, is war good?
Yes and no.
Okay. Already it gets complicated.
Yes, war is good, but war is also bad, right? Like
Fair enough.
people die, like it's not good, but there are reasons for it.
So then you think like, and this question gets very easily, very quickly, emotions get attached to it.
Oh, sure.
And so we want to try to detangle ourselves from that and just decide what is truth.
Be any emotionless drone.
What is good here? And so, for example, let's say you have somebody that's, American citizen. They join the military. They go fight a war. This has happened so many times, right? And
we've had lots of good American people who have done this.
Right. And there's been so much division among the country, but then also within Christianity of, how good is that to go over there and, you kill these people.
Take lives. Yeah.
Sometimes it's even children that end up dying and things.
Part of it.
So there's bombs, right? The bombs that they don't really care who you are. They're going to blow you up. Right? Okay. There's some stuff there.
Sometimes you have a drug boat going across the ocean and you get hit by drones.
There's all sorts of things that can happen
regularly, actually, lately.
Yeah. So, how do you deal with that? How do you know what's good, what's evil, what's right, what's wrong? So it's a very sensitive issue.
Yeah.
So some people would say war is never good. Never good. That's,
and I can see the argument there.
Pacifist. That's what they're called.
I can see the argument. I mean, death and destruction is not good, right? So I can see that.
Jesus says, love your enemies.
Yeah.
He says, just, even submit to those that are persecuting you.
Yeah.
Okay. Things like that. And so there's actually some cases for that. Okay. Yeah. There's another view that says, you know what? Essentially, war justifies itself. The idea is this is how the world works. This is the broken world that we're in. It's always been this way. It will always be this way. There's some modifications to that statement a little bit, but that's essentially the idea. And so it's pursuit of power. It's about political convenience. This is just how the world works, and so it's fine. Mm-hmm. It's fine no matter what. You have the old phrase, all is fair in love and war. Kind of a thing. And so it's kind of like rules go out the window when it's war.
Sure. Yeah.
So normal morality, if you will, goes out the door, and you have a new set of code. For ethics and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So that's sort of that view there.
Because even in war, they have war crimes, right? Like certain things are like, you can do this, but you can't do that. That's just, just beyond, right?
And some people have differing ideas on what that would be.
Sure.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And, and so you think about like someone might say really quickly, if you're an American citizen, you love your country, which I hope you do. I hope you do. I do. Yeah.
Whatever country you live in, I hope you love your country, right?
Right. But you get attached to it, and so sometimes it can be the effect of, hey, my family has been in the military. My family's been in the military. Lots of friends in the military, things like that. And so you don't want to say that they were wrong, and so without thinking about it, you just simply declare something good.
Sure.
So really, what I'm trying to do is get us to think about it, and maybe you'll come back to the same conclusion in the end. But what if you were in, Russia, China, North Korea? Think about all these different countries of the world. Would it be the same? Would it be the same? Mm-hmm. When they come to try to kill your relative, are they morally just as well? Okay, so that's an interesting one. And where are the lines drawn for all of this? So that the whole idea, so you have pacifism. There we go. War is never good. Realism is the one where it's like, hey, war justifies itself. It's just the way the world is.
It's just the way it is, yeah.
You have another view that would be, well, I don't want to say the phrase just yet because it will trigger something. It's a common phrase that might be misunderstood. So let me hold off on that for a moment. So it's just the idea that, hey, war is good, for our context here, when it is used to spread Christianity.
Mm.
And so that would change based on whatever faith system someone's in. War is good when it's used to spread my faith system.
So a holy war.
Holy war, yes.
Yeah, it's a holy war.
I didn't want to come out and say it first because it would trigger some ideas. Maybe you get certain things in your head, but that's essentially the idea. Okay. Then you have another view where essentially there's you have government institutions. They are responsible for all of their citizens. And so really the goal is what they would believe is justice and peace.
Yeah.
So
protect your people.
Whatever it takes.
And your interests.
Right. Yeah. Whatever it takes to have justice and peace for all the citizens.
Which is, I would say, probably the position America would take in theory.
And that's been called just war.
Officially, right?
Let's not go there yet.
Okay.
We'll see. I just want to introduce some ideas right now.
Okay.
And so those
reading ahead.
Those are kind of the four.
I can't help but jump to the conclusion.
Yeah, I get it. Those are kind of the four major views on the morality of war.
Okay.
Essentially. Okay.
I can buy that. So let's explore those views.
So let's dissect a certain a couple words here. So you have Exodus 20 verse 13. Exodus chapter 20 verse 13.
I feel like that's the 10 Commandments.
That's the 10 Commandments. We're going to number 6.
Thou shalt not murder.
Well,
Is that the one we're on?
Look up your translation and see what it says. Most of the time they say you shall not kill, or thou shalt not kill.
I read the New King James. It says murder.
Okay, yeah, but not all translations are the same, and so a lot of them say kill. There's some that say murder, and so do we need to make a distinction there? When it says don't kill,
The
and then
NLT says murder.
You have killing going on.
What's your translation say? Any look up the ESV?
I'd say probably about every modern translation.
ESV says murder also.
But about every modern translation today would say murder.
Okay.
So, but there's maybe you have a beloved translation that's not so modern and it says kill. And so sometimes that can create a little bit of an issue as we think about, all the times that there is killing in scripture. And so is it right or is it wrong? Yeah.
Well, a lot of people, when they say the 10 Commandments, say kill. Right.
Right. You repeat the
it's
old
like they
style.
say do not lie, but it actually says do not bear false witness against your neighbor.
Correct.
Which is a whole nother category of
I think it's more broad. Yeah. it's I think anyways, that's another issue. So we'll stop there.
We'll do that one later.
Okay. So I would definitely be in the camp of saying, you shall not murder is appropriate because murder assumes moral evil, guilt. It assumes that in the word.
Yeah.
You don't say, the praying mantis murders her husband, kind of a thing. We don't use any of those kind of terms, or the mate, the black widow, same thing. Any kind of animals, we say kill, because murder implies morality. Kill either assumes moral good, or it's amoral. It doesn't have there's no moral element to it at all. I stomped on an ant, right or wrong, and your views on stomping on ants. We'll say I was trying to attack my children. I don't know. But I killed the ant. I don't say I murdered the ant though, right? No matter how you look at that, you don't say I murdered the ant. I killed the ant. Okay. So that's something to think about too there. So already built into our language, we understand there's a difference. Not all killing is murder. If you want to say it that way.
Yeah, definitely.
So then let's kind of think of that for like wartime.
Yeah.
And so is it murder or is it killing? And so you want to throw that out there in the mix.
I would say in general it is definitely killing, not murder. Although I think murder from time to time would happen in times of war. People get carried away.
Sure.
Maybe someone surrenders and you kill them anyway. Those types of things.
Sure.
Which even that may be justified. And I wouldn't even say it's always murder because, there's a lot of fine lines in there. But I mean, if you look at like the life of some of the men of God in the Bible, like David, the man after God's own heart, I mean, he actually has a Psalm 18. He's like, he's praising God for teaching. He teaches my hands to war. Right. Okay.
Right.
So war is not inherently bad. In
Right.
fact, God gave certain people the ability to be killing machines. I mean, David and his mighty men were butt kicking killing machines, and yet David's the sweet psalmist of Israel and a man after God's own heart. But when he went to battle to kill people, and he did a good job of it. I mean, in fact, that's how he got his first wife, was killing some Philistines. Right?
The only way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the perfect thing. If some young man comes to date my little girl, I'm like, yes, you can
Earn it.
bring me 100 foreskins of the Philistines.
Well, before we get ourselves into deep trouble here,
Okay.
We'll shelf that one.
Okay.
How about that? We'll shelf that one. So the idea is like, first off, can there ever be a lawful killing? Now, for us, we have a different starting point, but because we're talking to a whole bunch of different people, like that's the first hurdle that you might even have to consider. Can there ever be a lawful killing? If for justice, someone kills 300 people, mass murder spree, should we kill him back? Is that justice? Is there a limit? To use the famous example, right? The Hitler type person, is that person deserving of death?
Yeah.
So you start to think like that. I think a lot of people start to say
justifiable deaths.
Yeah. Right.
Especially in case of punishment. Yeah, I would say so. And I think the Bible says so.
All right, so we're kind of getting started. I don't want to say too much because there's something I want to do that might be a little bit special for us today. So
okay. Oh, no.
I don't want to say too much here.
Are you gonna you put me on the spot somewhere?
Maybe.
Okay.
We love to hear from you too.
Okay.
So have you ever heard the expression, an eye for an eye will leave the whole world blind? Have you heard that before?
I've heard that.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I would agree. Well, because everybody offends somebody, right? Like if you all just every time you're offended, you go and you just poke somebody's eye out. Eventually, no one's going to have any eyes left. So I get that. There is a place also for grace, right?
But do you know where they get that from? That phrase, an eye for an eye?
What? Eye for an eye comes from the Bible.
Yeah. So is that wrong?
No.
So, but leaves the whole world blind. The implication is that's wrong, right? That's a bad system of justice.
Yeah, I disagree. But okay.
So talk about it. Yeah. So what? So is it because so I don't like the phrase "an eye for an eye will leave the whole world blind." I say that's stupid. That's my first gut reaction.
No one's actually going to do that, right? There's going to be one guy left. So
perhaps.
I was going to stab each other at the same time. It's just that's not practical.
Oh my goodness! Well, you can still have one eye and get somebody else, But.
Most people say that because they don't want justice, right? But justice is good. God is a just God. He put governments in charge to be just and uphold His laws. And there was a moral code that we're supposed to stand by and follow. And the government was given authority by God to uphold those laws.
Okay.
It's not up for me and you to go around poking people's eyes out. But in America, we have a judicial system where people go and they're tried, and if they're found guilty, then they're punished. And we don't necessarily do the maiming thing here, although some countries still do that.
Yeah, it happens. But where do you get that from? Like for Scripture, where you said it's not for us to do it, the eye for the eye. It's not for us to do that. Where do you get that from?
I have to look it up.
Okay, all right.
Well, look it up?
we want to make sure we're clear. Let me give you. I have 3 different references that mention the eye for the eye.
Okay.
So I'll give you the first one, Exodus chapter 21, verse 24.
Holy cow! I got a whole bunch of them.
There are 3 big ones here.
Exodus 21 through 24.
Yeah. So then you have like Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy is what I have. These 3 passages. So Exodus
Leviticus 24:20, Deuteronomy 19:21.
Calm down.
Exodus 21:26.
He's not calming down.
All right.
All right. So in verse 24, just to cut, in without context here, it just starts eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. And then if you want to add 25, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leviticus 24:20 says fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth.
All right, but let's back it up here to verse 22. So I'm looking at Exodus chapter 21, verse 22. And it says, when men strive together, so this is part of the law.
Yeah.
When men strive together, it means that they're
This is when the baby's hurt, right?
like fist punching.
Yeah.
Would you calm down? So when strive, you get ahead of me here. When men strive together and hit a pregnant woman, so they're having a fist fight, and they knock the pregnant lady.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it says so the hit was in such a way so that her children come out. So there's some kind of birth or delivery. There's some kind of delivery going on.
Yeah.
It says, but there's no harm. So the child was delivered, but there's actually no harm. It's a healthy baby. Okay. The one who hit her shall surely be fined. You're still getting a fine for doing this.
Yeah. Because you shouldn't hit women when you're fighting.
And
that's why you still take it outside. Right?
It's not good. Well, especially
don't
a pregnant
fight
lady.
next to
Don't do
pregnant
that.
ladies.
Yeah. Don't
this
do that.
Is common sense. Come on, guys.
So then it says the person will be fined as the woman's husband shall impose on him.
Yeah.
So it's that serious. He gets to just make up whatever fee he wants.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting thing. It says, and he shall pay as the judges determine. So the judges, they're the ones that determine like how many like you're gonna make it payments. You have so many years to pay it, or pay it all at once right now, whatever it is.
Is that also kind of like a check and balance of if me as the husband just make up some ridiculous number, the judge would be like, okay, come on now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it does say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And so I think the whole point of the law is make sure you don't hit a pregnant woman.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the point, right?
It's like it can be as high as he wants.
Yeah.
But the judges are the ones that go, okay, well, we can make it into monthly installments. And so that way it's it's a more reasonable.
Okay.
All right, verse 23 says, but if there is harm, that baby delivered, there's some kind of harm, it says, then you shall pay life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. And it goes on the whole thing. So what's really interesting about that is it shows also that a grown man in society has equal value to an unborn baby.
Yeah, equal
value, 100%. Which is that's a whole other thing. But that's a really cool. I love that one. So, but what we're looking at here is what I want to show is the eye for the eye thing. That part is not for the individual. That's for the judges. This is the law for the judges to actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Carry out. There we go.
Okay.
Execute the judgment. And so that's not for the individual to do. Okay, so then you have these other illustrations because we have other passages, but it's all the same conclusion. You can look at it yourself.
Yeah, it goes down and it goes through all kinds of stuff that could happen, right? Like the next section it goes in the animal control laws. If your ox gores somebody,
right.
If he was known to gore and it happens, then you're in big trouble, right? Otherwise, you're not as big in trouble, and you just put anyway.
All right, so even to help us understand this a little better, we can hop over to the Sermon on the Mount. So we'll go over to Matthew 5, specifically verse 38. Jesus references this.
Yeah.
Okay. So with the Sermon on the Mount, the whole thing, he is correcting how the scriptures have been misinterpreted the whole time.
How man's traditions have taken over what God actually said.
There's been a bad leadership, and they have been making up their own interpretations. They've been adding the scripture all together, taking certain things out. And so he's not preaching new things. He's just preaching actual good interpretation of the Old Testament.
Well, I like how he even says this. You have heard that it was said. He didn't say, I said it.
Yeah, you heard it was said.
You heard the interpretation of what was said.
Right.
What was given is basically what he's saying. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Mm-hmm. But I tell you not to resist an evil person, but whoever slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also.
So we can. There's other examples given. We can stop there though for our purposes. Mm-hmm. And so he says, do not resist the one who's evil. Okay. What are you going to do? You're not going to fight against him. So if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn him the other also. Turn the cheek. We get that phrase.
But see, this is what was part of the misinterpretation was. They use the eye for eye as in a justice thing, as in a vengeance thing. You hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back.
Yes.
And Jesus is like, nah, that's not what it's supposed to be.
Right. And so it's
not up to you to have vengeance.
Yeah, so that's the whole eye for an eye leaves the world blind, because they are misinterpreting just like they were back in the old days. And they're saying, of course, if everybody took it upon themselves to apply their own personal justice system, and take it on themselves to exact vengeance however they saw fit. Well, okay, yeah, you're right.
That's a problem.
That's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And so there's a whole reason that there is a justice system put in place.
Yeah, and that's why it's nice to have a third party who
not involved.
In theory, neutral
Yeah.
can then make judgment on things. Yeah.
So, but then we have an interesting thing going on here because it says, don't resist the one who's being evil to you. And so he gives a very specific example. He says, if anyone slaps you on the right cheek,
Give him the other.
smack. You turn the other, you give him the other
Yeah,
one.
give
Go
him
smack
the
that one too. So I guess we're supposed to be pacifists. No war.
Well, this isn't talking about war, but yeah.
Well, if you can't do this, how can you do war? You know, this is the most bottom
This
line.
is talking about personal vengeance.
Well, so no self-defense, right? No self-defense.
I don't know if we would go that far either.
I don't know what. I'm by the way, I'm advocating a certain position here that I may or may not uphold
Well,
myself.
no, you're seeming like you are here. No, I mean, this has nothing to do with self-defense either.
Well, someone smacks me. Should I defend myself?
No, turn the other cheek.
So
But
no
just getting-
self-defense.
But just getting slapped by an idiot is not needed of self-defense.
How do you know they're an idiot now? Come on.
Because they walked up and slapped it. I mean, you're 6'2",
Okay.
300 pounds. I mean, why are you slapping this guy? You moron.
All
There's
right.
lots of other people in the room. I mean, clearly he's not very smart.
So what I would say about this one is that so you think about someone slaps you and it hits you on the right cheek. Okay. So what I picture, first off, if I balled my hand into a fist and I punched you in the face, how would I really hit your right cheek? So assuming I'm right-handed, because that was the assumption of the day. So, and I am right-handed.
That would hit you in the left.
So
That would hit
if
you
I
in the
have a
left cheek.
fist, my right hand's a fist,
Yeah.
and I'm going to punch you and hit you in the right cheek. How's that happen?
It doesn't.
It doesn't happen.
In the left. Yeah.
And normally you're going to go for the eye, the nose, right?
Yeah.
The mouth. Okay. Something like that. So hitting, and it says slaps, right? If anyone slaps you, hitting on the right cheek, that's a backhand slap. So my right hand, backhand slap, that hits you the right cheek.
Sure.
That's an insult. There's nothing to do with self-defense because that's just an insult.
I knew it.
Yes. They weren't actually trying to kill you or leave you, to die kind of a thing. They're not beating you up. It's an insult. And so the idea is if someone slaps me in the face, I can recover.
Yeah.
Yeah. My pride's hurt, perhaps, something like that. I might be embarrassed or ashamed or just angry. Depends on the situation.
Sure.
Maybe
all of them.
But I'm okay physically. I can recover from that.
Yeah.
And so
It's a
that's the
slap.
idea. It's just an insult. And the other things too, it's a matter of inconvenience. Someone takes your, they sue you for your tunic. The idea is that it's wrongful. That's the idea behind it. It's wrongful. And so they go, okay, well, you can have my cloak too.
Yeah.
Because I'm not about the earthly things, I'm going to love my enemies. The Roman soldier, he could command you to carry his stuff for 1 mile. He could demand that, and there's milestones everywhere, so you know exactly what a mile was. And he says, if that happens to you, go 2 miles, carry 2 miles for him.
Yeah.
And you're like, boy, what an impact that has, right? That sort of a thing. Even the person that begs, just give it to him. The assumption is that if you have it, okay.
Sure. If you don't have it, it's hard to give.
Right. So there's some assumptions there, but you get the ideas. And so Jesus is actually preaching the text correctly. He goes, look, that's not for you. That's not for you. This is your part. So there's the individual and the institution. So we have to determine, what is this for? The individual or the institution? The eye for an eye was for the institution, the judicial system. And then for this part, love your enemies, that's the individual.
Yeah.
Just for an insult. It doesn't say anything about self-defense here at all, I don't think. This is just handling insults and people taking advantage of you, that kind of a thing. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm on board.
Okay. This is our warm-up. So I'm going to take a certain position.
Okay.
And I want you to react to it. Okay?
All right.
All right. There's, like I said, I introduced 4 systems in the beginning.
Okay. Which position are you going to take first? You're
Well,
going to take all of them? Or you're
Just
going to pick
react.
one?
Just react to.
Just react to
whatever I say. Whatever I
Okay.
say. Okay. So I'll just tell you. I'm a character here. Okay. It's okay. So I'll just tell you where I'm at.
Okay.
All right. If I look at all of Jesus' teachings and his example, that he gave us. He gave us a specific example to follow and all of that. I'd say he was calling his followers to not be violent. Wouldn't that be true? That he's not wanting us to be violent people? Wouldn't you say so?
No.
You don't think so?
I wouldn't say that. No.
I don't see him.
I think there's that. Yeah. I
don't think Jesus ever advocated for violence.
Well, define violence.
You're gonna hurt people.
Okay. So maybe would a whip hurt? Possibly, as Jesus was chasing you around with.
Did he ever actually whip a person?
We chased him out with a whip. That sounds violent.
Doesn't mean he whipped a person.
And then
I don't think he did.
There's this one passage in Revelation where he comes back and kills everybody. So violence has a place.
But that's God. That's God's place, not our place.
Well, you said Jesus didn't ever do violence.
Well, in his earthly ministry, when he's giving us an example.
Right.
So then God can do it, of course. And so when God does it, the question is, well, should we do it too? But I think he was taking a position there where he was leading them. And what violence? He spoke a word and his enemies were destroyed. So I don't see a place in Jesus' earthly ministry where he's actually calling us to do harm to anybody, to be violent in any way.
To advocate violence or go to war.
Yeah. He says, love your enemies. He's turn the cheek, with insults even. Christians should not participate in lethal violence or war. That's my position. That's my position. Okay.
Why is that your position?
Because I'm taking it.
Okay.
That's as simple as that.
Okay.
All right.
So we're still back to the government thing, right? So Leviticus, where God's giving the law to the people to follow. Leviticus 24.
Let me turn there. Go ahead.
There's lots of things we put to death for, which most of them aren't carried out anymore. But some that had traditionally up to more recently been carried out would be like Leviticus 24:17. Whoever kills any man shall surely be put to death. Whoever kills an animal shall make it good for animal, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's a restitution thing.
Sure.
You kill a person, well, you get put to death. But this isn't for me and you to carry out. This is for the government to carry out, with the judges and all the things, right?
Well, in fact, this is the Mosaic law that's not meant for anybody today.
Yeah, well,
so we can't use that.
Says who?
We can't. The Mosaic law is obsolete.
It's the law of our land.
Well, but you're quoting scripture here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so this is the old covenant, which in Hebrews is very clear. It says it's obsolete.
You said that Jesus never advocated for it.
Jesus talking?
Jesus is the word. Okay.
But his earthly ministry, where he gave us today an example to live by.
He came to fulfill the law, not get rid of it. All right. He never said
he did fulfill it.
He never said that the moral laws were supposed to be abandoned and gotten rid of.
He upheld every prophecy that was there. He fulfilled it completely.
Now, he didn't kill everyone yet.
Well, as far as he's supposed to so far, he has not left any prophecy behind.
So let me finish reading what what Leviticus says. If a man causes disfigurement to his neighbor as he has done, so shall it be done to him. And then it goes into the factor, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, that whole thing. Once again, though, back to this is not you having judgment, personal vengeance. Sure. This is supposed to be carried out by the government that God gave the authority to.
Yeah. Well, God gave those commands back then.
Yeah.
What's he commanding us today?
Same things.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So if you take one part of the law as over us today, then you have to have the whole law as over us today.
No.
It's one unit.
No, I don't have to have the ceremonial laws.
Oh boy.
I don't have to have the ceremonial
the Bible never chops it up like that. Ceremonial, civil, moral. That's never, you're falling into a trap there.
No, because look at the Ten Commandments. Look at the Ten Commandments. There's no ceremonial stuff in there. That's how you love God and you love people. Just Jesus summed it up. That part of the law, Jesus specifically advocated for that part of the law. And he just summed up in two. Love God, love people.
Yeah.
Well, this passage here gives you the consequences for not doing the part that love the people part, specifically harming others.
All right. So here's the deal. Let me because I have to cover this for you. And we're gonna go to Hebrews 8. We'll go to Hebrews chapter 8 here. Okay, and we'll start with verse 6, I think. Okay, so it says, "But as it is, Christ has obtained a ministry that is as much more excellent than the old, as the covenant he mediates is better. New covenant better than old covenant, since it is enacted
There you
on
go.
better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, there would have been no occasion to look for a second. For he finds fault with them when he says," and when he goes on. I'm not sure how much I should actually read here, but let's go down to verse 13 for the punchline. "In speaking of a new covenant, he makes the first one obsolete, and what is becoming obsolete and growing old is ready to vanish away." So the old covenant is no longer has any binding at all.
Yeah,
Now,
that doesn't mean the moral code that God set forth doesn't have binding.
well, now here's the safety for you. What is repeated in the new covenant is carried through. So,
Which, like I just said, he repeated.
okay, but like keeping the Sabbath isn't repeated, right?
Exactly.
So we don't have to. That's why we don't hold to that. Okay, but what you are talking about is not repeated in the new covenant. The judicial law for Israel. That's not repeated in the new covenant.
Okay.
So we don't have. So that does not have any binding over me today.
What are you talking about?
You are advocating for violence based on
I'm not
Leviticus.
advocating for violence. I'm advocating for justice.
You did no.
There's
You
a difference.
said
Justice.
you went to Leviticus,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Leviticus 24, and you were talking about verse 17. Whoever takes a human life shall surely be put to death.
Yeah.
That law is not binding over us today
Why not?
because once again, it's a part of the old covenant that's been made obsolete.
No, it's part of the moral code.
You're making that up.
No.
Yeah.
No.
There's not, you find me anywhere in the Bible at all where somebody splits up the law. And in Hebrews, did it say the old covenant's obsolete except for the moral part? It didn't say that.
No, it's a covenant.
Yeah. Well, we'll let the audience decide on this one.
Okay.
But I think that I'm obviously right. So that's a mean thing to say like that.
I disagree.
It is a mean thing to say. I was being a jerk when I said that part. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Let's move on.
Let me read Romans 13.
Oh, he's jumping ship. Okay.
No, let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except for God, and those that exist have been instituted by God.
Sure.
So he sets up governments, right, and authorities. Therefore, whoever resists authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. For rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. Right? Why are rulers a terror to bad conduct? Because they're going to punish you. Because they're
some
acting
way.
on the authority that God gave them to uphold his moral law. Would you have no fear of the one who is in authority? Then do what is good, and you will receive his approval. For he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. So God gives the government the sword to will justice, right? And what's the sword used for? It's not to pat you on the back.
Well,
Right? For he is a servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. Therefore, one must be in subjection not only to avoid God's wrath, but also for the sake of conscience.
okay. And
So God gives governments in the New Testament authority to carry out justice with the sword.
so, quick commercial. I want to just insert again for the sake of our audience that I am advocating for a position that I may or may not hold myself.
Okay.
So it's just for this, we're having a lively debate here, and so I'm taking a position. Okay. So with that being said, with that commercial, then I'll jump back into it. All right. So, and by the way, Nate's totally caught off guard by all this stuff. He didn't prepare. He didn't. I threw this at him. Yeah. So just so everyone knows, it's all fair here. Okay. So when I read this here in Romans 13, I'm looking for my part specifically first as an individual And of course, looking through this as an individual, I would still see no call for me to be violent in any way myself.
Not unless you're part of the government.
Well, okay. So then you have
your part that you're called to do is don't be bad, and you don't have to fear the punishment. But if you are bad, be afraid.
Yeah.
For he does not bear the sword in vain.
Okay. And so, with the sword, that could mean a lot of things. And really, it's really just punishment. It could be fees. It could be fines.
It could be. Depends on what you did wrong.
So you can interpret that the sword doesn't have to be something like whips or a shooting squad or something like that.
Or it could just be a sword.
It could, does that what happens today in America? Was there a sword involved?
No, but you get the
illustration.
You get the point.
It's a metaphor.
You get the point of what the sword is for.
It's symbolic, right?
No.
So it's a literal sword.
It was then.
Is it today?
Well, we don't have to use swords anymore. We have better weapons.
Okay, so
we have electric chairs and hanging nooses.
So a sword can be a chair now.
And we got
sit in the corner. Injection. Sit in the corner. Okay. All right. Yeah, maybe it's a sit in the corner kind of punishment. So I mean,
I'm not so afraid of sitting in the corner.
It's obviously symbolic to fit all cultures and all times. Just that there's punishments. That's all it's saying. So sure, there can be punishments. It doesn't have to be bloodshed.
No. Then when you read at face value, the sword pretty sure it causes blood.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's just your interpretation.
No, there's no interpretation needed. It's just that sword.
I think you're violent with your words.
I'm not being violent.
I need a safe space. Okay.
Well, it says if I'm going to live in terror, that's more than sitting in the corner. So.
All right. But just a quick check. Are you having fun with this conversation?
Yeah.
Because I'm having loads of fun with this conversation. No. Okay. All right.
This sounds like a normal conversation, actually.
All right. Here we go. What's up? I'm ready to continue here. So anyway,
that's my New Testament passage on the government has the authority from God to enact justice on his behalf.
Okay. So let me just
now also the government in theory is supposed to enact God's moral code, not their own make-up stuff, right? They're given authority by God to obey him.
They have to be in submission
on behalf of the people to protect the people.
Now,
and that's where we get in lots of trouble when governments don't do that.
Yeah.
And they make up their own rules and they're not just.
Okay.
And that's all kinds of problems.
I want to be careful. I think we're drifting into another topic. I want to be careful. I want to be careful to have a barrier there so that we don't.
Okay.
So the idea of like submitting to governments, even when they're evil, kind of a thing. Yeah. I want to table that for another time.
And that's a whole other conversation with America.
That's a big one.
The ultimate authority of America is not the government; it's the people.
We're tabling it. Shelving it.
We the people of the United States. But yes, okay.
All right, shelved. Okay, so here's my next. Just let me do this. Okay. So then, would you say, just kind of follow along with me here? Would you say that God best reveals himself in the Son Jesus? So the triune God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I just want to make sure we're not. I'm not saying something else, but just that God is best revealed through the Son, Jesus.
I would say so.
I think that's safe, right?
At least as far as like our human understanding can understand, right? I mean, he was the example that.
You don't like necessarily see the Father, see the Holy Spirit. You can't. It's like they're at work, obviously, and they're doing lots of things, but it's more invisible. More invisible work.
Yeah, I mean,
you can make some arguments here or there, but then it's not very clear.
No, I would go with that. Okay.
Best revealed, Jesus Christ, the Son. All right. Would you also agree, separate thing here, would you also agree that specifically the earthly ministry of Jesus in the first century, one of the things it accomplished was to leave us an example to live by?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And did you notice how Jesus suffered even to the point of crucifixion, and he even forgave enemies, but he never killed an enemy. He never killed them.
Yeah. Although this is now, that was the whole plan of God since before time began, right? So that doesn't quite apply to me.
And the whole time,
I wasn't dying for your sins.
But he gave us that example.
So that was
of how to treat enemies, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Individually.
I don't see, if even someone breaks in my house or something, I mean, I can try to, lead my family to safety or something, but I really shouldn't like kill somebody or something. That's not
that's
an
a whole other
example.
topic. That's a whole other
Well, self-defense,
self-defense,
killing in self-defense.
Yeah, which
I would say is
I
murder.
personally probably wouldn't even do. I would kill in defense of others. I mean, I could care less about myself, but you harm one of my children or my wife, and I'm going to probably hurt you severely, right?
You would let someone kill you then?
Probably not, but I wouldn't go out of my way.
I'm clarifying.
I mean, I would if I was in an awkward situation, I would probably leave. But if absent of leaving, if I have the opportunity to stop them, of course I would. But if you are harming someone else, I most definitely have a moral obligation to stop the wicked man from harming the innocent.
Yeah, I mean, I just see even people mistreating Jesus to the point of death. He's our example, and he never fought back, and he didn't kill anyone. So that's my position in this position that I'm sharing with everybody right now.
Yeah. No,
that same commercial
he didn't fight back.
Okay. All right. Well,
there's no argument there, right?
Piece of the puzzle there.
He did not fight back.
So that's why I won't either.
Like a lamb to the slaughter.
Right. I'm going to be a lamb.
Okay.
All right. How about this one?
What are you going to prove by that?
Because I want to be like Christ. And that's how I see we're going to be like Christ.
Yeah.
In this position. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then the church, would you agree that the church is in direct contrast to the earthly government? There's a big difference between government and church.
Okay.
Wouldn't you say so? That's a contrast society.
Yeah, no.
Church and government.
Separate church and state, right?
Well, I'm not saying those words. What I'm
as a Baptist is part of your beliefs.
Well, I am upholding a position here that I may or may not believe myself. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Hold on.
So the church, I mean, it's a contrast society over against the state. Its calling, the calling of the church, is to really embody the ethics of the kingdom.
All right.
Not to wield the sword.
Hold on. Okay. Let me pull this one up.
I got one more sentence. Christians may pay taxes, obey laws, but refuse to kill.
All right. So Jesus telling a story. Okay.
What's the reference?
It's not really telling a story. He's just making a reference that everybody would understand.
Give me a reference. Scripture reference. What part of the Bible are you reading from?
What it says.
Huh?
This is weird because it says, no. There we go. I see it now.
Maybe I can figure it out if you start reading it.
Yeah, well, you've heard this story before.
Okay.
Mark 3:27. No one can enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods unless he first binds a strong man, and then he will plunder his house, right?
Right.
The idea is, and there's other references here. Hold on. I can pull up the other ones.
Well, what's your point with that one?
Jesus is telling us, hey, it's okay to guard your house, right? You can defend your stuff.
I don't think he's telling you to do that.
When a strong man fully armed guards his own palace, his goods are in peace. Why are they in peace? Because he's guarding them.
Well, yeah, but who cares about...
He's guarding his goods, for crying out loud.
Who
Not
cares
even
about
himself.
earthly things? Let him take the earthly things. You know what Jesus said? He says, if someone sues you for your tunic, give him your cloak also.
Yeah,
who cares about
that's
that?
Back to another thing, though. We already covered that.
It's the same idea. Why am I going to fight over my earthly stuff?
It's not the same idea.
If they want my earthly stuff, let them steal it, and then I'll offer them a cup of sugar too.
Yeah, what Jesus is saying here,
and share the gospel.
Guard your house.
He's not saying to guard your house.
Well, he's just assuming everybody's going to guard their house.
But he's not commanding to guard the house. Your assumption is that his assumption is that everyone guards the house, but that's not what it says.
A strong man fully armed guards his house. And when he guards his own palace, guess what happens? His goods are in peace because nobody going to break into a house when they know you have guns.
This is when they were calling the Holy Spirit Satan. And because they said the only reason you're doing these miracles, Jesus, is because you actually have the power of Satan in you doing it. This was a really, really big deal.
Yeah.
Matthew 12, parallel passage, blasphemy of the Holy Spirit kind of thing. The unpardonable sin, right? And so it says, he is possessed by Beelzebul, and by the prince of demons he casts out the demons. And he called them to him, and he said to them in parables. So this is Jesus' parable to explain how they're wrong about that.
Yeah.
How can Satan cast out Satan? If a kingdom is divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand.
Mm-hmm.
If a house is divided against itself, that house will not be able to stand. And if Satan has risen up against himself and is divided, he cannot stand, but it's coming to an end. In other words, Satan and I are not working together because we're doing opposite things.
Doing opposite things.
Okay. So then he says, but no one can enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods. So who's the one plundering goods here in this parable?
The devil. Devil plunders.
I think Jesus is the one plundering here.
Oh, Jesus is plundering here.
Look at it. No one can enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods unless he first binds the strong man.
Yeah, but the other parallel passage says if you guard, well, the one Luke 11:21, when a strong man fully armed guards his own palace, his goods are in peace.
That's just the truth. That's just the general truth.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what Jesus is saying as a general truth.
Yeah, it happens.
It's okay to guard your house.
That's not what he said.
Everybody does it. He didn't say you shouldn't do it. He said everyone does
All right,
it.
let's go to that passage. What was that passage? I'll handle that one now too.
11:21.
Same book.
No, Luke.
Mark?
Luke 11:21.
Okay.
It's the same passage. It's just the Luke version of it.
Oh, so it's
That's what I'm saying.
same meaning. Okay.
So I'm saying it might not be Jesus doing the plundering.
So he's like, if I
Jesus
cast out
didn't.
demons, verse 19, if I cast out demons by Beelzebul, Satan, by whom do your sons cast them out? Therefore, they will be your judges. So the idea is like he's casting out demons. In other words, he's bound the strong man.
Mm-hmm.
So he's plundered his goods. He is in charge. He says, but if it is, verse 20, but if it is by the finger of God that I cast out demons and the kingdom of God has come upon you, when a strong man, fully armed, guards his own palace, Satan, his own kingdom, his goods are safe.
Peace.
But when one stronger than he, Jesus is stronger than him, attacks him and overcomes him, he takes away his armor in which he trusted and divides his spoil. And so we even have that imagery in other parts of Scripture, even Ephesians 4, I think it's verse 10, I think.
Who is not with me is against me. Who
Psalm
does not
68, 18.
gather with me scatters.
Yeah, so it's not saying for us to guard our homes and kill people that break in.
He's not saying not to.
But
he uses this example. I'm saying is he uses this example because everybody guards their home. It's just assumed that you're supposed to guard your home.
So in this instance,
you're supposed to protect what God has given you.
In this instance, my claim is that there is no call for violence.
Your claim is that Jesus is plundering homes.
And that, he plundered Satan's kingdom.
Yeah, he's plundered Satan's kingdom. Yeah,
absolutely. And of course, he's God. He's obviously, he's attacking Satan, yes. But I'm talking about another human being, a human being to a human being. And so, here you have a claim saying that Jesus is commanding us to use violence to protect ourselves, and I want to see where that's at.
He used the example. The assumption is that everybody will protect their home because why would you not protect your home?
I think not everyone's a strong man. Not everybody has the ability.
That's why the fully armed part comes in handy.
Well, what's he armed with? His armor. That's not an offensive weapon, even.
Call it what you want.
Well, you don't use armor to hurt somebody.
It's fully armed.
Okay.
That said fully armed, didn't it?
My ESV says he takes away his armor.
Yeah, this one says fully armed.
Well, okay, it does in the beginning of verse 21.
Yeah,
later it says
fully armed.
So fully armed. So what does that mean?
It means you have armor, sword, shield, everything. You're fully armed. You got the whole suit on.
If you finish the sentence, it says he takes away his armor in which he trusted. So that's what it's talking about when it says fully armed. It's talking about the armor.
Well, no, it's fully armed, and
Satan thought he had a well-defended kingdom.
Yeah,
Jesus still busted in.
I'm saying
got him.
He uses this as an example because guys guard their homes. That's normal.
Well, of course, the majority of people are unbelievers. Of course, they're going to act evil, and even lots of Christians act evil. It doesn't mean it's right.
It's just normal.
Just because people do it.
It's just normal to guard your home.
Well, I mean,
yes, it is normal to guard your home.
It's normal just to please yourself and have your own priorities over God's too. Doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, no, that's correct.
So just because something's normal doesn't mean it's right.
But those things are directly corrected in the Bible. Guarding your home is not corrected in the Bible.
Well, I think that I'm making that case.
No.
Yeah, I think I'm making that
you're
case.
saying that I'm not supposed to slap people back means I'm not supposed to guard my home. That doesn't make sense.
Well, I just see no call for violence because even if it's talking about
violence towards people or violence towards
violence,
animals.
Human being, violence towards another human being. That's what I'm focusing on. Human beings.
Can I say mean things about them?
You shouldn't. You should love your enemies.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if I really, really don't like them? Then can I say mean things?
Yeah. Well, why don't we go to Romans 12? Go to Romans 12.
Romans 12.
Tough guy. Fully armed tough guy. Okay.
All right. What's Romans 12?
All right. So Romans 12, we're going to go down there a little bit further. Let's see, toward the last section of Romans 12 here. Let's maybe start in verse 14. I think maybe we can start there. Bless those who persecute you. Mm-hmm. Bless and do not curse them.
Yeah.
Well, then how's that fit with people coming in and trying to destroy you?
Well, this has to do with persecution of Christians anyway,
which is even more harsh. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Look at verse 19.
What better thing to do than die for your faith?
Verse 19, beloved, never avenge yourselves. Verse 19.
And don't forget when Jesus chopped the ear off the high priest's servant, or when Peter chopped the ear off, Jesus picked it up, put it back on, and said,
right.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Yeah, we know these things.
He discouraged Peter from that violent action.
Yeah, from having a holy war. He discouraged him from a holy war.
But either way,
that eliminates one of your things. One of your reasons to go to war was a holy war, right? No, don't do that. That's not how you persuade people to become Christians.
This is the pacifism. At this point, we could say pacifism is what this is.
The one that you're advocating for. No kidding.
Yeah. So since you mentioned that, I thought So verse 19, though.
I had no idea.
How do you deal with verse 19? Beloved, never avenge yourselves. Never avenge yourselves. Leave it to the wrath of God.
Yeah,
for his written,
we've gone over
mine.
This. Vengeance is not yours to take.
So no violence.
There is a justice system enacted by the government that God gave authority to make things right. You are not supposed to take judgment or vengeance on for yourself.
What is our action?
And this is specifically talking about persecution anyway, so it doesn't necessarily apply.
Well, that's definitely persecution. Someone's punched me in the face.
Yeah, no kidding. But
so to the contrary,
why are they punching you in the face? Are they punching in the face because you're an idiot, or are they punching in the face because you're a Christian?
Well,
some people get punched in the face because they're an idiot, and they say, "Oh, I'm being persecuted." No, you're an idiot, right? It's like the person say, "Oh man, God's just not blessing me. I don't have any money for my rent." But they just went to 14 movies last week, right? Okay, so some things isn't God's punishment on you, just like some things aren't people persecuting you. Sometimes you just deserve to be punched in the face.
Wow.
Okay, so let's get that straight to start with. All right. So if it's true persecution, there are two different things between you being a moron and being persecuted, right? So some people are actually being persecuted, and no, just take it like a man. Like Jesus did, right? Just like it says right here.
These were times of persecution.
Absolutely.
But I don't think it limits it to only being persecuted for your faith.
That's what this passage is about, though.
You might have a hard time with that.
It talks about persecution.
So, like, verse 9, let love be genuine. That's only during persecution.
No, it's not only
broader. So it's broader than that.
But this passage is about that.
Abhor what is evil, hold fast to what is good. Is that broader than persecution?
No, actually, this is one of my favorite passages in the Bible. This just basically tells you how to live.
I think it's all.
I love the title of this passage. Behave like a Christian.
Is that what yours says?
That's what it says at the top.
Mine says marks of the true Christians over verse 9. That's what the ESV. But anyways,
so, no, I mean the things in here are not only for those being persecuted.
It's broader than that. Yeah,
it's broader than that.
Yep.
I'm just making arguments because you are.
So then, verse 20. To the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink.
Yeah.
For by so doing, you'll heap burning coals on his head.
Yeah.
Which I think
that's violent.
It's shame.
That's violent.
It's shame.
That's violent.
So the picture,
burning coals on my head. That's violence. No.
By so doing.
Yeah.
And so that's the idea. You get red in the face because it's hot. That's shame. Red in the face.
You overcome evil with good.
Yeah.
Right.
So, not with
that
violence.
is how a Christian is supposed to act. Like these things are how we're supposed to treat each other.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. If I want to show love to those around me, show love to those around me. That is a better testimony to them than everything else, right? My job as a Christian is lead people to Christ. So yeah, if my neighbor is mean to me and I go and do things back to him in vengeance, of course that's not leading him to Christ. If I take him a plate of cookies instead, that's something different. That's going to stand out to him, right? That has absolutely nothing to do with the government enacting punishments on evildoers or going to war, though. This is how individual Christians are to act and live in our society, to make a difference in this world and to be a blessing to those around them and to lead people to Christ.
So I'll just leave it there with this because I think I've presented the best arguments that I have. I think I've presented those.
Yeah.
I've done it. I think I've done it fairly.
I would agree.
And I'd say if you would say that you are a pacifist, if you align with that, and you think that I've misrepresented the view, then please comment. Please do so, or you can ask questions to maybe tease out the ideas a little more, something like that. Get involved that way. But I think I've done a good job of presenting the pacifist case. Mm-hmm. And so I'll go ahead and say at this point that I do not hold to pacifism. I do not. So that some of that was, I don't know. For me, it's a bit fun, but some of it's kind of a.
Speaking of love your neighbor,
okay. You
said the laws had to be repeated in the New Testament, right?
Yeah.
So I just got back down here to Romans 13.
Which part?
Romans 13:9. Well, it's starting 8. Oh, no one anything except to love one another. For he who loves one another or loves another has fulfilled the law.
Yeah.
For the commandments, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness, you shall not covet. And if there is any other commandment, all are summed up in the saying, namely, love your neighbor as yourself, which Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself, right? That was the commandment. So those commands are repeated in the New Testament by Jesus.
Those are,
yeah.
But not the Levitical law. The Levitical law is not repeated.
But this is in the same passage of the government has authority to enforce the laws that God set up. And then immediately after that, hey, here's the laws that they're supposed to be enforcing. Do not murder is one of them. So if you do murder, they get to punish you. If you steal, they get to punish you.
Well, it's not saying that the government upholds these laws.
Basically,
it's
in the same
not
passage.
Upholding don't commit adultery.
It should.
It's not, and not coveting. The government's not policing coveting.
No, but they're supposed to.
Okay, no,
well, they try to.
Not even coveting. Come on, that's a stretch. That's such a stretch. But love God more than anything else. Love your neighbor as yourself. The whole law hangs on those two commandments. Yep. It's called even the royal law in other places. It is the epitome of, because law is morality. It is morality. It's expressed through a culture. And so, we have the basis of any law is a morality. And that's the problem with societies today is they have laws without the foundation of God. Mm-hmm. And so they have this like sort of pseudo morality where they're like borrowing from godly things and stuff. But without that proper foundation, it just leads to, crumbling, really.
And it goes on. Love does not harm. There's no harm to your neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. And to do this, knowing the time that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now our salvation is nearer than when we first believed. The night is far spent. The day is at hand. Therefore, let us cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. All right.
No. Hey, let's this has been a long one. So let's stop here. And I want to do.
Are we going to do a part 2?
I want to do a little more of this.
I don't feel like we even got started on what you actually want to talk about.
No, this was good because we're covering a lot. I think it's the best way to explain these views.
Okay.
I think it's the most fair thing to do.
Recap what in the world was your point?
You want me to recap on pacifism?
I don't know what your point was.
So let's
okay, your point was
this is typical. You want me to do it?
You started off with talking about war. right?
There's four big views
Or killing.
of what is moral.
Okay.
That's how I started. There's four main views on the morality of war.
Morality of war. Okay.
Okay.
Pacifism.
And then I said, let's get us thinking.
And holy war.
Hold on.
And what's the other ones?
Yeah. So pacifism, holy war, realism, just war.
Okay.
Those are the four. And so then, get the juices flowing. We talked about kill versus murder. What that means. We dealt with the eye for an eye passage and how that was for the judges at the time. And so it wasn't even meant for the individual.
It's never meant for the individual at all.
It's the difference of institutional versus individual responsibility.
Yeah.
We have to make sure we stay in our lane, so to speak. And then what I did was I basically took the position of a pacifist. I think one of the better representations personally, and gave that and surprised you with it so that you would have to interact with that, off the cuff. And so we're going to do another one, and I'm going to pick another one. But what people need to know in the audience is that he's not going to have time to prepare still, because we're going to do it right after
now.
this.
It's not actually a month later. You're going to give me another one.
Right.
All right. In pacifism, just as far as that goes, I mean, you can make legitimate arguments for pacifism, right?
And I think I did.
There's a reason that there are a lot of denominations in Christianity that hold to pacifism in some way or form.
Much of the early church, even in medieval times and stuff, even they were pacifists.
And clearly, we're not supposed to just individually fight back when we're harmed. Like, we're supposed to show the love of God to people.
Yes.
Like that. That is, I mean, it's commanded right here in Romans 12, right?
Love can cover a multitude of sins.
How does a Christian live? But that's also different than war or self-defense or defending others. It really is a lot of just yourself or things, or obviously in cases of persecution and stuff. But
I'm not gonna comment anymore because we need an end. So
yeah. We're gonna end there. Okay.
Fun discussion.
Hopefully
you
found this beneficial. Hopefully you disagree with Joel or myself, and you give us comments. We love feedback.
Put it down there, yeah.
And it's always good. And I'm sure everybody has a take on this in some way or other.
Oh yeah, big time.
Which is fine. It is a big topic with lots of little things. And there's a lot of room for disagreement in there.
There's a lot more coming. We're going to talk about nuclear war even down the road here.
Yeah. So we're going to drop a nuke on you. So, all right, we are going to close out. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends.
Yeah.
We will see you next time.